Hi everyone, it's me, Madam Pamita, and I want to welcome you to our little interview series that we're doing here on Instagram and then posting on TikTok and YouTube called Meet My Familiar. Today we are going to be interviewing Dana B. Myers, who I'm so excited to interview. And while we're waiting for her to join us here, she's going to be coming in a second. I wanted to tell you a little bit about why we are doing this series. So I've got a new book coming out in a couple of weeks. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's only a few weeks. On January 28th, my new book, The Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars, is going to be coming out through Hay House. Very, very excited about this new collab with Hay House. It is a comprehensive and accessible book that'll teach you how to make magic with the animals in your life, whether they're pets and home animals, or if they're farm animals or wild animals, insects, fish. I mean, we've got it all in this book. There are over 100 spells plus ways, wonderful rituals that you can do with your animals just to build this beautiful, beautiful relationship. So the thing I wanted to let you know that is, if you pre-order a copy, which is hugely important for authors, the pre-orders are really helpful. Even more so than those new orders that we get in the beginning after the book is released. So if you pre-order, I want to reward you for pre-ordering the book. And the way I'm doing that is by giving you access for free to my normally $40 full moon workshop. On January 13th, we're going to be having my normal full moon workshop, which is called the Introduction to Animal Familiar Magic, where we'll be talking about how to connect with your animals, how to discover if your animal is a familiar, what kind of things that you can do, how you can work with wild animals, domestic animals, and so on. So if you want to get in on this, plus the other bonuses that are coming, we have an amazing array. We have 5 bonuses total. This is only the first bonus. You can get all 5 bonuses by getting in now. You'll get that free Zoom workshop, which is normally $40. You'll get the recording of the workshop, so even if you can't make the live, you can watch it later. And all you have to do is pre-order The Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars and go to animalfamiliars.com and sign up, and then you'll get that book. You'll get the book and you'll get the class and you'll get the bonuses that are following, which are amazing. So I hope that you will do that. Go to animalfamiliars.com once you're done watching our interview here. So I am going to bring Dana on right now. I'm so a little bit about her. Dana B. Myers is a professional tarot reader, ritualist, and spellcaster. She's offering transformative. There she is. Oh my gosh, gorgeous girl.
Hi. Oh
Hi.
my God.
We have been following each other for years and years now, and this is the first time we actually get to meet and talk, and I'm as excited
I'm
as you are.
so excited. Listen, I'm such a geek out fan. I have my books. You know, I absolutely love and adore you. I think it's so amazing. Yeah, just to finally meet you. You've been so influential in my life and my experience as a witch, and I'm just ever so grateful. And I've pre-ordered my book, so whoever's watching, pre-order your book, get in that workshop. And you're such a gem. So I'm so
Oh my
honored to be
gosh.
here with
I
you.
mean, you all should follow Dana because those your candle spells are like my dream of what I wish my candle spells look like.
Oh
They
my
they
God.
work. I mean, they just don't look as glamorous as yours do. Yours always looks so
Thank
beautiful and
you.
glamorous.
Thank you.
So
It's yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was going to finish telling everybody about you and then we'll just chit chat. I know we're going to just talk and talk and talk. So anyway, she offers transformative guidance through readings, gatherings, and bespoke spell crafting services. Her mission is to empower women to explore their authentic self, such a good mission, embrace their magic, and manifest their dreams. We are birds of a feather. We are
Yes.
truly that. Through her work, she helps women see their choices and options more clearly, offering clarity and insight as they navigate their path. Previously, the founder of the sexual wellness brand Body Parlor, Dana revolutionized the world of sensuality and self-care and authored 2 acclaimed books on women's empowerment and sensuality. After exiting the brand, Dana has fully stepped into her role as a trusted guide in the mystical arts with an unwavering commitment to helping others unlock their potential and step into their power. And you can learn more about her at danabmyers.com or on Instagram, Dana Myers XOXO. she is going to be talking about her familiar Pretzel, which is the best name in the world. He's a 4.5-year-old golden doodle, and he has taught her so much
Yeah.
about nonverbal communication with the animal world and holds the sweetest space for me while I'm spellcasting. Oh my gosh, we're going to talk about all of that. I also have a young doodle named Oppie. Is
Oppie.
it Oppie?
Yes.
Yeah,
His full,
1 year
his full
old.
name is Oppenheimer after, the guy. So,
However, he's more of a delightful cuddle buddy and has less engagement by magical practice. That's what we find, is that some, just like we have friends that are magical friends and friends that are non-magical friends, we can have animals that we love and adore that are non-magical. It doesn't mean that relationship is left. Some want to do magic with us, others don't.
totally.
So, oh my gosh. So welcome, Dana. So happy to have you
Thank you.
here.
I'm so happy to be with you. So, so happy. So, so happy. I have two of your master candles back here. I'm just like finishing off these altars. It's all Madame Pamita up in here.
Oh
So,
my gosh, I love that. I love that. So I want to hear about how, well, first of all, maybe, I've been finding that a lot of times the younger animals, just like kids, might be, sort of mildly interested or uninterested or disinterested in magic. And then as they mature, they become, or you kind of see what their role is,
mm,
as they develop and grow. So you might find that Oppie has a role to play in your magic at some point, or maybe he's just a wonderful cuddle bug who's gonna,
yeah, it's interesting with Oppie. I never really wanted a dog, and my husband Charlie, was asking me for 10 years, 15 years, come on, it's time. And finally I just gave in, and that became Pretzel. And Pretzel just has this amazing nature. And then a few years later, the family, my kids, they wanted another dog, and then Oppie came into our lives, and I was very resistant. And so Oppie and I were really like, we really butt heads for a good 6 months. And he brought out in me, aspects of my personality that I was not happy with. And that it's like, I mean, it's weird to admit it, but he really brought out a lot of rage in me. Um, and so I think, and now I absolutely deeply love and adore him. So even outside of the magical realm, what he really told me is like, taught me is like, there's always another side. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's always another side. Like, your enemy could become your best friend. Anything is possible. But I really do deeply love him now. I'm not sure, his energy is just different, but I'm going to hold a little space for him to maybe do magic someday. Maybe it's possible.
You never
Maybe.
know, man. You never know. Something could blossom, or like I said, he could end up being just the wonderful buddy in your life
Yeah.
and wonderful
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
So,
He does
yeah,
give a lot
just
of love.
have that open-mindedness of like, who knows, just be curious and see what
Yeah.
happens. I think that's
Uh,
wonderful.
yeah, I
So
will.
this is interesting. You were so resistant, and now it's the opposite,
Totally.
right?
I know, from 0 dogs to 2 dogs. I was so resistant, I think because, I have 2 young kids. Well, they're not so young anymore. They're 11 and 14. But it's very physically taxing, emotionally taxing. It's so much to kind of, parent other living beings. And so I thought, like, why am I going to bring something else into our home that I have to take care of?
Right.
But little did I know, how much love there was, how much loyalty, how much, deep commitment, and, this nonverbal communication that Pretzel and I kind of discovered with each other. It's really such a gift. And the way that it began, it's like there, I actually read about it. It's something called pleasure growling. I was sort of looking up, like, what are these sounds that he's making? Because my husband, so he would growl and I would sort of lay on him and growl back, and then he would mimic my growl, and then I would try to mimic his growl. And we do it. It's our language now. We can do it at any time, but he doesn't do it with anyone else. I keep like saying, "Oh, try it," to my husband, or try it. He started to do it actually with my daughter just this week. Um, but at first, my husband was like, he's growling, he's angry, he's upset. And I said, there's no way. Like, I feel us like locking in, like Avatar when they plug
Yeah.
in. Um, and we just have this, we have this language together, and learning to communicate with him through this pleasure growling has really allowed me to tune into other animals and sense almost like their heartbeats. It's very much like in their heart that I sense that I wasn't really able to do before. So it's a pretty cool discovery for me by way of that sensing.
Oh my gosh, you tapped into something I talk about in the book, which is not only about psychic communication and psychic links with our pets. Like if anyone has ever wanted to be a pet psychic, I think if you have an animal, all of us want to be pet psychics, right? You
Totally.
know, we want to know what they're thinking, right? I talk about techniques to do that for sure, but there's this other part of it, which is to speak the language of your special animals.
Yeah.
And when you start doing that, like I'll meow back to my cat
Yeah.
who's around here somewhere. I'll do the slow blink, which is another thing that cats do. They'll
Mm,
do the slow blink to say, I love you. I always think of it as I
mm.
love you. It's like, hello, I trust you. I love you. So I'll do these things, which I'm sure if somebody were filming me, it'd be like crazy cat lady, but this is like such an important part of that bond
Yeah.
between you and the animal is to like enter into their world, like
Yes.
you each take a step into the other one's world, and it's so special and magical. So while you're describing this, I know exactly what you're experiencing. I know exactly that connection that you have when
Yeah.
you start communicating back and forth in their language. It is something that is like so it expands you.
It totally
It expands you and
does.
your magical practice. That's what I think. So
Totally.
yeah.
And it's also just really healing too. It's really healing. I think I get so much life force from doing my magic, but it's also, when I see clients, it's also, you're giving so
Yeah.
much, right?
Yeah.
You're giving
Yeah.
so much. And so when I kind of just, when Pretzel and I snuggle in and we start our little pleasure growling sessions, it's like I really do feel that I'm being filled back up. Like he can sense where I feel depleted. And it's just a reset. And maybe, in like Muggles worlds, that's just dog love, But I think that it is something, I
I
think it
know.
is something more magical. I think there is just this amazing, deep connection that we can have with animals if we tune in. I was
Yeah.
actually listening to a podcast the other day. I think it was called the telepathy tapes about nonverbal autistic children and the discovery of their telepathic abilities to be able to read mostly their mother's minds, but some, anyone who's around them. And part of the scientific evidence and the discovery process they were going through was also tapping into animals to try to figure out what part of the brain is firing and observing animals having the telepathy of their owners, like when their owners would leave their office, even if the office was like 50 miles away, they would monitor the dogs going to the door and waiting and knowing. I just
Yeah.
think it's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, this phenomenon is pretty well documented that people will drive up in a different car, get dropped off by
Yeah,
someone that is not the normal person, or somehow sneak up on their animals, and the animals will know.
yeah,
The animals will tune in.
yeah,
Um, it's, with cats, I think sometimes they ignore you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't always know that they're getting the message. But dogs for sure are so excited. And it's very interesting to see like if you're aware and awake and paying attention. And I would say to people, you already know this, of course, but I say to people that are new to magic or new to intuition, it's like you have to give that intuition space, and it's a quiet voice inside of you, and your shouty rational mind is going to shout it out every time, but you want to create space. So when something like, you're saying, gosh, I really feel like this growling back, this play growling, this loving growl that we do with one another is more than just, him mimicking me or us mimicking each other. Allow space for that. That's how the
Yeah.
intuition, creativity, play all go together. We have to give that part of our spirit space.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is this is part of it, is to like say, like, not to dismiss what we intuitively know. Don't dismiss your intuition. So your intuition saying, well, not you, I know you're not doing this, but like someone saying, well, maybe it doesn't mean anything that my cat, they just want something to eat, or
Yeah.
my dog just is around me because they want a treat or a walk or whatever. um, be willing to like think beyond that. That is going to be probably
Yeah.
your best
Yeah.
advice on that.
Yeah.
So did you guys have an interesting, first of all, I think it's adorable that you guys are kind of twinning, if everybody sees the picture. I know that wasn't planned, but
In a former life, I was a golden doodle, and so it just worked out that way. No, I have the same sort of golden, afro as both my dogs. It's a real vibe.
it is really cute. It is super cute.
Thank you.
I mean, they're
Thank
like
you.
kind of like fashion dogs, in some way, but I'm sure they're much more than that. That wasn't the choice of why you got them.
No, no,
Or maybe
it's
your husband has a
maybe,
type.
maybe, maybe. Oh my God, so funny, so
So
funny.
did either Oppie or Pretzel come into your life in an unusual way, or was there something special about how they came into your life?
Not really. Not really. It was more, I think for me, it was like because I had so much resistance, right?
Yeah,
Really to each of them, I had a lot of resistance. And I think it just goes back to my upbringing. My dad never wanted a dog because he played the piano and he had this beautiful baby grand piano, and he always would say, "The dogs are going to eat the piano legs." And now, mind you, we bought them a dog 15 years ago. He loves his dog. Like he still doesn't want to admit it, but he loves that dog so much. Um, so I think I just like grew up feeling like, oh, well, the dog must be a burden, right?
yeah,
And so there was this resistance, like a defensiveness. Um, and I think with each dog, there was just this process of like that resistance melting away. With Pretzel, it was much easier because his nature is more chill. And I think there was a bit more training done with Pretzel, which, you know, the accidents that a puppy has are, laborious, right? And
yeah.
and Oppie just like ruined the house for a long time. Hence the rage and just all the chaos. But also, I guess if I really look at the timing, Oppie came into our lives when there was a lot of chaos already. And then he kind of brought like the bomb that Oppenheimer actually designed. This was my son, my teenager, was like, let's name him Oppenheimer, like the movie. And I was like, name it after the bot, like, okay. And he really like kind of came into our life, which was at a very chaotic time when we were trying to exit our brand Booty Parlor. And really, my husband and I, we ran that business together for 20 years. And I really wanted to leave and enter into this sort of life of magic. And he wanted to leave and do a new thing for himself. But it was, a struggle. I mean, exiting a business and trying to pull it all together. And so there was a lot of stress in the house. And Oppie came in, and maybe he fed off that stress and thought, like, hey, I'm just gonna mimic your stress. And maybe that's why he was such a chaotic animal. Um, but with both, I think the process for me is that learning to love each dog, just it was like a softening. It was just a softening and like a surrender. The hanged man, right? Like go upside
Ah,
down, surrender, and chill out. You're gonna be upside down, so you may as well relax and chill.
yeah.
um Mind you, I just have like this book. Just I know we're going off topic, but I just need you to know. I just need you to know, like, thank you. Just thank you. I mean, highlighting,
Thank you.
I'm a Capricorn. I just thank you so much for
Oh my
everything that
gosh.
you have ever written and taught. Thank you.
Thank you. I
Um,
gotta say about that book, it's like the little engine that could. When people
ah,
find it, it's like a little treasure. Like it's not one of the big bestseller tarot books, but people that find it love it, whether
I
they're
recommend it to
beginners
everyone.
or super experienced. My editor was Judika Illis, who, oh my gosh, you cannot get a better editor
Uh-huh.
than Judika. And she was like, you showed me things I've been reading for 50 years and you showed me things.
So
And I'm
good.
like, or whatever, it was 40 years, not 50 years. But yeah, so she was like, oh my gosh. So yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it because I love that book. And it's like, it's not a big bestseller, but people that find it
In my heart, it
just love
is.
it.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Sorry to go off topic. I'm just still fangirling over you.
Well, I mean, I think there's something, when you were talking about Oppie, sometimes, there are, I always think our familiars are our teachers.
Yes.
And when you get a destructive familiar, whether it's like a wild animal that destroys your garden, like deer that eat your, crops or something, I think it's a way, there is a gift in that. And the gift with a destructive dog that pees all over everything is to like not be attached to stuff. Right? We learn that our stuff is just stuff.
Yes.
We learned this. I had a child who was a little toddler like that. And I had all these cute little tchotchkes. And my friends that had daughters were like, had these beautiful, like, glass things on their desk. And I'd be like,
No,
or
no.
their coffee table, I'd be like, how can you have that on your coffee table? Oh, I told her not to touch it. I'm like, are you kidding? I have something 8 feet up on the wall and he finds a way to come and knock it down.
Totally.
So I
Yeah.
learned with them, and I think these animals will come into our lives to teach us
Yes.
non-attachment, right? That beautiful
Totally.
spiritual lesson
Yes.
of like, it's just
It's
stuff. It's just stuff.
just a thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's just a
Absolutely.
rug. It's
Yeah.
just a wood floor.
Yeah.
It's just a whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
just a piano
It's
leg.
just a piano leg. That's right. I never understood that. I never understood that one.
Oh
So
my gosh.
over the years, I have done so many spells using your amazing candles as master candles. And I actually went on the site today and looked to jog my memory and just write down all the spells that I've done with each of the different candles. And I just, can I throw some out there to you?
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear your take on these animals. Is that
Yeah. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the fox, right? I'm actually doing a second fox over here.
Love the
So
fox.
I love the fox. And this last one I did about the fox was about like opening the road to 2025 and like a clear, swift path. And so that fox just brings that swiftness. But I'm just so curious to hear what like your take is on your fox.
So Fox is we call it the fast Fox candle because it's like one of the ways of using it is for bringing in something quickly. Like think about like a fox is they're fast, right?
Yeah.
But we also can use Fox energy to kind of get the upper hand with something. We can also use Fox energy to get out of a sticky situation. I think that's one of my favorite
Mm.
like ways of using it. Problem solving. Foxes are super intelligent. They're trickster energy. I mean, um, I don't know if I'd do a spell about bringing in trickster energy, but
Yeah.
maybe if you did want
Ugh.
to, or to honor the fox spirit. I mean, all the animal candles can be used to honor that spirit as well. Or if you have that familiar, you can honor that familiar or work on that familiar, use it like you would use a human candle. And you could find the closest animal that relates to your familiar, right? Like we have a
Mhm.
cat, we have a dog, we have a wolf, we have a fox, we have a horse, we have a unicorn. I mean, you
Oh
just find
yeah.
the one that's closest to the one that is the animal that you're trying to connect with.
Mm.
Um, so I think of fox as that. All right. So yes. All right. We're
Okay, so
playing
that's the fox.
Jeopardy.
Okay, yeah, here we
Candle
go. Next
Jeopardy.
on the list is the frog. I did a
Oh,
frog spell for money, and I did three frogs in a
love
triangle.
that.
Oh, hold on. I think there's a human familiar. Hello. Hi. Come on in and say hi. This is my daughter, Indy. Come on, quickly. Are you on live? I am. I'm doing an IG live, so you can't stay, but you can say hi.
Hi.
There she is.
Hi.
This is Madam Pamita. We are going. We are going. Okay. 4:45. Okay. We're going to see Wicked
Oh
again
my
with some of my
gosh.
girlfriends.
How
I know.
fun. Oh my gosh. So fun.
Okay. So
Um,
I did three frogs. Are we good on time? You're still
yeah,
good?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did three frogs, and you put the penny. I put the penny in each of their mouths, And when I think back on that spell and the frog energy, and living here in Miami, there are a lot of frogs. You know, the notes that I made today, it was like, I remember the energy of like sturdiness and like commitment, and not like wishing for money, but like committing to this, like the sturdiness one needs. Just like the stability of one's energy to kind of go on that ride.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know your take on it in our
Well,
animal candle Jeopardy.
well, I would look at frog really has a lot of traditions of fertility and abundance in so many traditions, Slavic traditions, Chinese feng shui traditions. And I mean, you look at frogs, frogs exist, Egyptian magic. We look at that frog as like abundance, right? This is when
Mhm.
the waters come back to the land, which you need to have those like gentle rains and the waters come to the land so your crops will grow. So this is where the association between frog and abundance comes
Okay.
from. But also frog can be transformation or being able to be adaptable, because when you think about the frog is such a unique, whether it's a frog or a toad, they metamorphize just
Yeah.
like a butterfly. They start out first as a little egg, then they're a tadpole, then they grow legs, then they're on land and water,
Yes.
they're amphibians. So when you
Yes.
think about that adaptability of land and water, that they're kind of comfortable in each, I think of a frog spell would be wonderful if you're coming into new communities and you want to blend, like kind of get in the mix, or if you are making a change in your life, you're changing from one state, maybe even from maiden to mother, mother to crone, or you're moving, or you're doing anything where you need this like flexibility and adaptability, that can also be used for that
I love
as
that.
well. So, yeah.
Thank you. I love that. Okay, hold on. Next up, we have, well, the unicorn. I've done several of that, of the unicorn spell. There's one burning. There's like all, I you probably can't see it, but it's almost done. It's
Yeah,
almost done. Um, just sort of making the impossible possible, right? It's
totally, totally.
just
Yeah,
like, and that is such a glorious candle.
yeah.
Um,
I also think unicorn can be used to open up things like intuition, where we were just talking about intuition and how you have to like allow the like unbelievable to be believed. And so
yes.
that can be that. It can be used for like making miracles happen when you really need something like outrageously different, that almost you can't even believe it, but you want
Yeah.
it. So it can be for success. It can be for, I mean, like if you're like, ha ha ha, that'll never happen, but you want it,
Yeah.
then that's the time to bring the unicorn spell
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the wolf, your howling wolf. I used that wolf where I was, in a moment where I was really on an underworld journey, midlife rebirth, one
Yeah.
of those ones. And in thinking back upon that spell, it was really to help me process and like transmute that pain. Like I would envision the wolf howling and allowing me to like be in the pain, knowing that it was like the howling was moving the energy, like guiding me through.
Yeah, I think wolves also have this wonderful empowerment
Mm,
piece of the puzzle. You think of the wolf as like an apex animal. I mean, there's lots of animals that are apex, but they are that apex animal.
yeah.
We also have that idea of like the community being
Mm,
really having that support of community, because wolves are pack animals that are very like the myth of the lone wolf isn't really it is sort of a myth, because wolves are pack animals. They
yeah.
also have wild nature, unlike dogs.
Yeah.
They still retain that wild nature. Dogs are, more leaning much more toward domestic because they've been domesticated for so long. But we find the wolf kind of a thread of that wolf in every dog. And so the wolf is
Yes.
that free, empowered. I think of that. And so like when you're doing your deep work, so that you don't feel crushed by that work, it's a beautiful, I love the way you used it, because it's beautiful for like, oh, I'm doing this heavy, hard work, but I feel strong and empowered. I can take it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, love that. Thank you. I'm just looking to see if there's anybody else on here. We got the fox, we got the frog, the unicorn. Oh, well, the
Yeah.
cat. I love that cat that you have. Um, the cat, when I use that cat, it's very like for quick wins. Like when we need a quick win, I just pull out the cat to just like snatch it. And rarely in my magical practice do I sort of ask for things to come quickly. But when I do, I find the cat's really helpful in those
Yeah,
spells.
so good. The cat, I always think of the cat candle, a lucky cat candle, as being like that cat. I have my familiar who's around here somewhere. She might have gone outside. She is a hunt. She's got a hobby and it's hunting,
Oh,
and she'll bring me all kinds of wild critters she finds.
wow,
And
really?
yeah, so and then but I also used to have a cat when I was growing up, Ho Ho. Her name was Ho Ho. She, which
Uh,
is funny now. Ho didn't mean
right.
what it means now. She
When
wasn't
we
a
grew up,
hoe.
it was different.
Her
It
name,
was a
she
cupcake.
we thought she was a boy, and her name was Hobart. And then when we
Oh,
found out she was a girl, we called her Ho Ho.
oh my
So
God.
Ho Ho used to bring magnolia leaves. She used to bring leaves in, like that was her offering. So it doesn't always have
Yeah.
to be like a blood offering,
Oh,
but
God.
yeah, it's like sometimes it's a little like it's a lot. um but the idea that the cat goes and gets something and brings it back to you is a huge part of the cat, like
Yes.
working with the cat spirit. Of course, with all of these candles you can connect to like your animals that have transitioned and have gone over the rainbow bridge.
Mm,
You could honor this the spirit of the animal. You can I mean there's so many things, there's so
so
many
many
things you can do.
things.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about, I'm curious to know, if someone wants to connect with ancestors, is there like what's your take on that using animal energy?
Well, I talk about in the book, I talk about these what I call kin animals. And kin animals are groups around animals. So traditionally, if we look back in many, many ancient prehistoric systems and early pagan systems, groups of people, whether it was a village, a family, a group of warriors, a group of healers, would have this representative animal that they would lean into, right? You could see this in shamanic practices as well. Like people have special animals, and there may be groups that surround these animals. So if you go back to ancient times, you might be like the badger clan, the badger village, the badger group, the
Mm,
badger family, or the bear family, or this. So you have any animal can be a what we would call a symbolic animal for your group. So it isn't a real stretch to say, oh, this feels like these are the animals that I'm going to use to represent my ancestors. And so you could either knowingly do that, like you might come from, we say, like a long line of horse people or dog people or
mm,
cat people. And
mm,
so maybe that animal represents that kin animal for you and your
mm.
family. But I also think we get found families around this, right? So when like what happens when you take your dogs to the dog park and you meet somebody who's also got a golden doodle,
Yeah,
or you don't, you go like, oh my God, right? you
totally.
know?
Totally. And actually one of my friends who I've become close to in the last, 18 months or so got a golden doodle. Oppie and her golden doodle are best friends. And then shortly thereafter, she and I discovered we're like fifth plus cousins on 23andMe.
Oh my gosh,
I know.
that's wild. That's
So
amazing.
from the golden doodle to way back in like, Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Oh
yeah,
my gosh, that's amazing. That is amazing.
so
So,
cool.
yeah, so when you look at like those kin animals, those can be, and it
Yeah.
could be maybe like you designate it. It doesn't have to be like
Mm,
there's some history, like we've
right.
always had horses or we always, but maybe it's like, you know what, this animal really feels like a special animal, and I want to bestow it on my kin and make that be our kin animal.
Mm,
Totally. I think
that's
that's,
cool.
something that you can do with your magical
Yeah,
practice
I
for sure.
like
Yeah.
that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
I
Amazing.
think that's all the animal ones. I can't
Yeah,
think we
no,
have the
I went through
horseshoe.
and I was like, no, listen, I I feel, listen, I wrote down some other animal candles that I've used, but they're not from you. And I feel like I can't, I don't want to bring it up. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm cheating on you if I use a candle that's not
It's all right.
yours.
We've got some cute ones coming up this year. Like we have a really cute rabbit candle. Like there's a lot of rabbit candles that look very cartoony and I'm not into it. But this
Yes.
one is like these two rabbits that are very beautiful and they're hugging. They're hugging rabbits. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind, which is such,
Amazing. This is
oh
not a candle, but rabbits are really my like core animal that I feel
my
the most
gosh.
connected to. Besides my pretzel, rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting to me because you're
Yeah.
right. A lot of the rabbit candles out there are just kind of cartoony.
Yeah, they're goofy
Um,
looking. And this one is so beautiful. And I love the shape and the energy of it. So I'm a little picky about what we make because I want it to be
yes.
something, I don't want it to be, you know,
Yeah.
so this rabbit, I like looked for rabbits. Like I really wanted a rabbit candle and I looked 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 and I couldn't find anything that I liked. And then finally I found this one. So we're going to have that coming this spring. We're going to have
That's
some cute little rabbits
exciting.
coming out. We got some other ones coming, but yeah, I mean, I think it's so wonderful and such a beautiful way really even to honor these animal spirits. You can find and use any animal as a substitute for your animal. So even let's say you wanted to do, let's say you have a cat that is afraid. Maybe you rescued a cat and they're super afraid of you. You might want to burn a wolf candle to give them more a sense of safety and empowerment and grounding, right? That could be like a wonderful thing to do.
Interesting.
Or to do a frog for them to help them to transition to this new home and this new environment and with ease and grace and all of that. So I think there's all
That's
kinds of things that you
really
can do with that.
cool.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
really cool. Okay, one last thing. One last thing. Can you or will you give me some advice on connecting more deeply with Oppie?
Gosh. Well, like, I think it's, Oppie is here to teach you. He's a teacher.
Yeah.
Like he's showing you and he's teaching you. And it's about really, um, I think there's two things. I think number one, it's like to discover within yourself and appreciate within yourself the patience that you're having with him
Hmm.
and also, too, you can start doing psychic connecting work with him. And I talk about it in the book, and
Cool.
you'll have the book soon.
Great.
Um, and then when you do that psychic work, say it's about saying we're in this together, we're a team.
Mhm.
So it's not all about you and it's not all about
Yeah,
me. We're going to work together as a team. So
love that.
for you to have this, you need to do this, or, and it's really the
I
psychic
love,
message that you're
I love,
sending to him.
I love
I
that.
would also say maybe a blue, if he's too hyper. Is he too hyper?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's calmed
A
down a lot. He's calmed down a lot, but sometimes,
puppies
yeah.
puppies can be, and young dogs can be. I would get a blue dog candle. We have a dog candle. It's
Yeah,
like a
I
German
just
Shepherd.
saw that today.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that before. I just saw it today.
Yeah, it's super cute and it's this beautiful German Shepherd, very regal. It is about we can use it in magic for fidelity, somebody being faithful, having something strong. I always think of that strong bond that dogs have with their
Yes,
humans,
yes,
creating
yes.
that bond and could be a wonderful thing. But I would get that really if I were going to do a candle spell, I'd get that dog candle in blue and like Oppie, you're going to be calm,
Yeah.
grounded. Brown would also be good for grounding,
Okay.
blue for calm and peace.
I
So
love it.
yeah. And then bring your, peace and tranquility oil or
Oh, I've got all my oils. I've got all my oils.
yeah,
It's so
yeah,
exciting. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
Um,
Thank you.
have you ever brought Pretzel into your magic or how does Pretzel show up in your magical practice?
So, sometimes I mean I have my little studio here. He'll come in, but he doesn't want to stay in. I used to do my magic inside the house and light my altars, and he
Yeah.
would sit at my feet. But now that I'm out here, I think that when we had this extra room in the house, and I finally claimed it as my own. And maybe in the beginning I was very like, this is mine,
Yeah.
to my children and everyone else. So the dogs may have sensed that. I don't know why they don't love being in here because it's a really great
Yeah.
space. I think it's right, the outside, the garden, the squirrels, the lizards, they're right on the other side of this window here. And so maybe that animal instinct to get out there and chase is
Yeah.
too strong.
Yeah.
Um, I think, I was thinking about that a lot. Like, is he a part of my magic? And I think it's more about how our connection both fills and fuels and grounds my life force so that I can come in and have the energy to do my magic.
Yeah.
And so because I really thought about that, like why isn't he sitting here at my feet as I'm mixing and lighting and writing? But I think it's more about like helping me be sourced to then come in and do my
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah. 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 He gives you it fills up your tank, right? Before
Yeah,
you, yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
so good.
But maybe Oppie is my little like wizard partner.
Who
I'm so
knows? Yeah.
excited. I'm so excited though to get your book and really go, take it to
Yeah.
the next level and go deeper.
Well, I have over 100 spells in there. There's general ones for all animals. There's a whole chapter on dogs and
Okay.
specific dog spells. But I encourage everybody that gets the book to go through it, even reading the parts that don't have to do with
Oh
your
yeah.
particular animal, because so many of the spells can be adapted if you're a little bit creative. You can
Yeah.
go like, well, wait, I can do that for my dog with this, right? You just figure it out. So you're going to have so much fun. It's going to just open up your practice so much. And there's so much about like spells we can do for our animals, spells that we
Great.
can do with our animals, spells to attract a familiar, spells to find a lost animal. I mean, there's everything's in there, right? It's all in there.
Amazing.
Um,
Amazing.
do you have anything coming up, projects? I know besides going to see Wicked this evening, do you have any projects or things coming up that you want to share with everybody before
Well,
we wrap up?
it's just been a really beautiful transition for me to leave the business that I was in and ran for 20 years and to kind of shift into this magical world. It's also just really nice to not be putting any pressure on myself. I was so used to being so goal oriented. What's the next product? What's the next thing? What's the next launch? And now it's just like my life has this flow. Clients are coming in, they're telling their friends, I'm getting calls from strangers. And so it's just kind of flowing.
Yeah,
And it's interesting. Some days I wake up and I'm like, oh, but I'm not doing anything big online. Why aren't I? Because I'm on my own. Like, it's just this, I've gifted myself with this sort of freedom, this
yeah.
flexibility to let things flow. But if you're in Miami, come see me.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Oh
and
my gosh. Are
actually,
you writing a book or anything right now?
so I'm not. I'm not writing a book right now. I did write two books about women and sex and sensuality and confidence. And I know I will write another book. I know that. I know I will. I think it will be a spell book. But again, I'm really in this conscious place of not putting any timelines on myself.
Yeah, it's
And
really
it's
good.
it's such a gift because I was so regimented for so long and so goal oriented that now I'm just like I just want to enjoy.
Yeah.
But if you're in Miami, I do a monthly talk at the One Hotel. I do group spell work. And I did actually do an online workshop last month, which was really fun. So maybe I'll do more. I'm just trying to be like loose and
Yeah.
free flowing. I'm a Capricorn, and so I know that, someday I will be once again quite regimented. But for now, I'm just like, I'm really giving myself that gift of a flow. It feels
I
so good.
love that. I love
It
that.
feels
That's
so
so
good.
good. It's really nourishing. So you can fill up your tank with that, and then you can get
Yes.
back to
Yeah.
building your empire as a Capricorn will. I have no
Yeah.
doubt that whatever your next thing that you flow into is going to be
Yeah.
another empire that you build. And if
Yeah.
you are writing a book, reach out to me, and I will give you some um, connections or whatever.
I would
I'm
love
so
that.
happy to. I'm so happy
Thank
to.
you. I would
Um,
love that.
yeah, yeah. So and I'm being real. Just reach out to me. I always love to help people. Anybody that is writing a book, all of you watching here, if anybody's
Thank
writing a book,
you.
reach out to me, and I'll be happy to share some tips and tricks and whatever with you.
Thank you.
Um, so um, So I want to say thank you so much for joining me, Dana. You can find Dana at danabmyers.com, or you can find her here, Dana Myers, XOXO. Um, Follow her, go and check out her feed. She has an amazing feed. If you want to see gorgeous candle spells, they are the most gorgeous.
Thank
Um,
you.
and
Thank
so
you.
don't forget that my new book is Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars, and it is going to be coming out in a few weeks on January 28th. If you pre-order, you can get into my workshop, which is the Introduction to Animal Familiar Magic. It's normally a $40 workshop. It's my full moon workshop for January, normally $40. You can get it for free and get an amazing book. You can learn how to connect to your animals. It's a live Zoom workshop, but we record it so you can have that recording if you can't make the live, or keep that for later. So anyway, go check it out by going to animalfamiliars.com, and you can have that book and that class, and all of it is just for the price of a book, which is really a good deal, I think. So anyway, thank you, Dana, so much for joining me. You're so
Thank
wonderful.
you.
We're gonna have to spend more
We
time
must.
together.
We must. We must. This has been such a pleasure, such an honor. I'm just so grateful to you. And I am so excited that we're now really, truly connected.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. All right. I look forward to seeing what you create,
Thank
what
you.
you flow into soon.
Thank you. Thank you. Talk to you really soon.
All right,
Okay.
bye.
Bye.